My name is Maya Sherman. I'm the Innovation Attaché at the Embassy of Israel in India. In background, I'm an AI expert. That's how I got into India 2 years ago. I came as part of the global partnership on AI to deal a bit with the non-technological aspects of technology. Discussing about these domains is to show the very strong importance of the society on how we are creating innovation. Just think of the last few years that we were going through. Away from COVID-19, to wars, to conflicts, to misinformation. These are not just things that are disconnected from innovation. If you think for a moment on how you're thinking of innovation today, the way that AI has evolved, it has a lot to do with the fact that we were going through some very collective crises that shaped us, also shaped the need for us to think more responsibly on the future. Does it mean that we are all moving into the pro bono space and only doing social technologies? No, but it's a process, it's a balance. So I hope that as I, again, not speaking too much, because of course it's quite a big topic, always think of this dual synergy between the technology that we're creating and society when we're living, because there is a lot to do with this. Tech shapes the way that we are behaving in our day-to-day with the interactions that we're creating between us. Question that come up is, what is the role of humans in it? So you would see that, I think especially, you see a lot of declarations from some of the very big genius tech people out there. Bill Gates is speaking a lot about the future of tech. He's giving a lot of estimations for the number of jobs that will be just replaced. And it's interesting because you would see that some of the positions that he's suggesting to survive are not the most obvious ones, but he's coming and saying quite clearly that AI can replace most of the human jobs of today. Will it happen? It's a big question. It doesn't mean that we have to be so scared of it, but in many ways it means that we need to understand the opportunities, because some others will say, quite interestingly, that there is also a new opportunity for the next generation of billionaires, the next generation of people who will be able to capitalize on this opportunity. Who is right? Still, we have some years to test and understand who is the next generation of people who will be able to monetize over AI advancement. Needless to say, there might be other technologies coming up and making all of these slides into completely redundant. But we are living in quite exciting times because we get to redefine the way that we are thinking of tech, the way that we are using tech, and also more interestingly, the way the tech can change our life at the moment and also in the near future. All of a sudden, governments are involved. Because today, AI supremacy is also testament to strength and economic empowerment. And thus bring the entire ecosystem into something, first of all, very interesting for anyone who is developing at the moment and working on AI, but also a lot of new opportunities that were not exposed to other techs before. I guess you're all aware that India is working on the foundational models, quite a big milestone. And I've said also a very interesting milestone for the ecosystem, as India represents, again, the largest democracy in the world. And thinking of these multinational models that will be adapted across all Indian languages, this will definitely be a milestone for most of the tech community today, since if you're thinking of OpenAI, it's working mainly, I would say, in the Anglo-Saxon languages. So quite interesting time for everything connected to AI regulation in the country. I just got back 10 days ago, and automatically a lot of new regulations coming up, especially when it comes to AI content creation and the way that we can actually prevent the creation of deepfake. Deepfake is a very interesting topic, not so regulated, and especially when elections are coming, it keeps coming up. There is a very big question on whether we should actually regulate deepfake or we should let actually free speech. And that's something that we also, as users or as developers of platforms, we should also be asking ourselves, in what world do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a world in which free speech is allowed and we can create how much content that we want? Or we also want to moderate the content? The answer is somewhere in the middle. The thing is, it's a new arena, new space, there are a lot of opportunities for content creation, especially because content is not one-sided. We can create good things with AI, but we can also create some bad things with it. So deepfake is a good example of it. So now we have the new amendments proposed, speaking about the watermarks, which gained some kind of controversy across the industry. And it's interesting because we're seeing a very strong attempt to see how to moderate content, especially as it's leading to deepfake. But the question, again, of students, especially of the industry, will be how we can create innovation without really hampering users' ability to create, and how regulation can be this kind of a safeguard and a safer space for anyone, again, to be protected in this new domain. This brings me a bit to the future of work, which is going through a lot of transformation. And I usually cite a very interesting report of the World Economic Forum, because I think that for the first time, this report showed that as much as we're afraid that AI will take our jobs and we will be replaceable, there are a lot of new opportunities. There are, I think, as you can see, over 150 million new jobs created. There are 92 million lost, and there are a lot in the middle. If there is something that I hope that you would take out of this talk, is the understanding that AI is complex. It leads to a lot of changes in the way that we are thinking of jobs and education, but it's also up to us to use the opportunity. It's up to us humans to show that we are still relevant in an age that most of us are not really measured anymore for how fast we do things. If before in exams, and I keep remembering the exam that it was during COVID, I had to do a physical exam in the university. A bit on my work here, actually. So before I joined the embassy, I was part of a very interesting project with the Global Partnership on AI, OECD. We were focusing on AI literacy programs for the informal sector. We did a pilot in Nashik, Maharashtra for 20,000 farmers, trying to teach them why AI is relevant for them. Why it's interesting? Because in the Future of Work committee, the point was to see how we can make sure that populations that are not necessarily AI-driven or actually believe that AI is relevant for them can also understand the opportunities that are coming in front of them. Last but not least, before I'm finishing, the age of creativity. When we are surrounded by AI, all of a sudden the concept of art is different, because we are not the only one who can create arts anymore. And there are a lot of questions. I mean, if ChatGPT can create the arts, then when is the place of the human artist? What human artists are supposed to do today? How can they actually capitalize? And I think the interesting part is the fact that we can create new kind of arts today, which is AI arts. We can put prompts today and tell, I want this kind of painting, and it will come up. And again, a bit, I guess, for where I'm from. So at the embassy, the entire point is to see how we're capitalizing on the relation that we already have between the countries that are different. But still there is so much in common, especially in the tech space. We have a lot of different collaborations, and I would say when it comes to understanding how responsible AI is working, how we can engage universities, companies, and startups, there are a lot of things that we can do. We have some different mechanisms, again, to enable this collaboration between Israel and Indian startups, and the list goes on and on. We do a lot of work across universities here in the country, but also back in Israel. And if I can sum up, especially for all of those of you that are working in the tech space, are looking for careers in this domain as well, this is agile time. A lot of things are happening. And the importance today is to be able to be multidisciplinary in approach and in thought, understanding that being techy today is not enough. There is a lot of importance to understanding the social world behind, the transformation in the future of work, and generally the way that AI might shape our life, but we as humans, we have the opportunity to think better on how we can use it more creatively so that humans will still have a very relevant world in the future. So thank you so much for the listening. I'm, of course, available for any question you might have. Thank you.